The champ is here!
It's just a man!
Give me a hell yeah!
What the Rock is cooking.
To be the man, you have to be the man. Big Papa Pump, and you hooked up.
Fallen.
At the end of
Woo, woo, woo!
Cup of coffee in the big time.
It's Tuesday. You know what that means. Famcast Media proudly brings you the latest edition of Working the Marks. And I am New Jersey's premier award-winning journalist and the most handsome face that runs the place. It's me, Fernando Uribe. Joining me here with my amazing panel, folks, Macho Rodrigez, out in the outer rim of civilization out there in PA. He's the PA prognosticator, Macho Rodriguez there. Certainly the only Canadian destroyer that actually sells, Tyler Taylor down in the great freedom-loving state of Florida. Of course, Nick Mysterio out there in the outskirts as well with, I guess maybe he's, did he have a stroke? I don't know. He just seems frozen.
I'm trying to smile. I'm practicing my smiling.
He's Nick Mysterio, folks. We are the Fantastic Four of Wrestling Podcasts here. And, of course, sharing is caring. Click the like button. And, of course, good to have our amazing, fully read, literate executive producer, Dee, in the house here. We love you. And, Dee, it's great to have you back. And, obviously, folks, we thank you for tuning in from wherever and however you may be doing so on Facebook Live. You stream it also on the Working the Marks YouTube page. Again, share with all your friends. Let them know about the best wrestling podcast every single week on Famcast Media. Guys, what's going on? Happy Tuesday. The shitty Tuesday, to say the least, with this inclement weather, but doesn't stop us from talking wrestling and sports entertainment here on the show. And guys, let me start with something I think I think this will melt Macho's heart here, but according to various sources, almost 15,000 tickets have been sold for Revolution in Greensboro, North Carolina, coming up in early March. Apparently, it's being reported that AEW is 12 tickets away from their North American pay-per-view record, which was Forbidden Door 2022 at the United Center in Chicago. Their overall North American record is still The First Dance at 20,177. Obviously, the headliner that day is going to be the final match for Steve Borden, a.k.a. Sting, who's had a glorious career. Talked about that at length previously. Not sure if these stats are accurate. Mach, I'm sorry, please.
2 tickets belong to the Rodriguez house. Me and Arthur will be going.
Okay. All right. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Yep.
Again,
I've never been able to watch him in person. I'm not going to miss his last match. So me and Arthur, my son, we're driving to North Carolina to go watch this pay-per-view.
No, it'll be great. Listen, it'll be great to be in Horseman country for sure. And again, guys, I haven't seen anything on WrestleTix, but other outlets have reported this. It wouldn't shock me if this show would sell out because of Sting's last match on the card. But interesting, though, again, that I didn't even know that they're still the ongoing record for them is The First Dance at 20,177. That could be quite a milestone for a company that's been struggling lately with attendance, guys. What do you think about these figures concerning Revolution coming up in March?
I mean, I agree with you. I think it might be a sellout just based on the fact that it's in Horseman country and it is Sting's final match. So I'm expecting for it to be pretty good. I don't know why they can't do this more often. I mean, but you would think that there's lots of wrestling fans all over the country, but for some reason, I guess when you only go to 5 states in the entire country, that's probably why people are just like oversaturated with AEW. That's probably why they can't sell out more often.
Yeah, they do have limited selling point. Oh no, go ahead, buddy.
They do have limited venues that they do visit. I may actually fly in for that show as well. We had talked about it. I think a lot of it just has to do with the one thing that's announced, and people want to say they were there.
Yeah.
I think the big drawing point for this show is Sting. They haven't announced any matches. We know what the situation currently is with AEW, with their houses and with the TV ratings. they're not in a good place, but obviously, Sting's last match is going to draw no matter where it is. I mean, Sting's an icon, and he's certainly one of the greatest to ever do it. So people want to be there for that moment.
All right, there's no denouncing that Sting is an icon. There's no denouncing that Sting is one of the top 10 of all time. But I mean, is it really worth it, bro? Dude's like 60-something years old. Darby Allin does like 90% of the match. And you got fucking Bones fucking Ric Flair outside, trying to relive his fucking 20s. Is it really worth going to?
Well, I would say, listen,
going to it.
Well, I would say just from the nostalgia component, it certainly is. Now, whether or not the company itself will have some sort of special memorabilia, some of the seats at ringside, maybe some commemorative merch. I mean, you would think on such a historic night that there would be something the company would do to honor Sting. Again, merch could sell out quickly. Those commemorative seats, as I just mentioned, collector's cups, whatever else. I mean, this would seem like not just for AEW, but you would think for companies like ProWrestlingTees.com and others to mass produce something in honor of Sting. Now, who his opponent will be, again, we have seen recent reports that Ric Flair was cleared by AEW doctors.
Oh, stop it.
I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you, as a broadcast journalist, this is what I'm reading. But the point is that we will see whether or not Sting goes out with an L or with a W in his last match. I know that traditionally wrestling lore tells us that you go on your back on your way out, but this seems like a permanent retirement. Not sure if maybe he would lose to Darby Allin. Maybe he gives Darby Allin the rub. I mean, not to say he hasn't sort of given him the rub already for all these years they've been teaming together, but I think it'll be very interesting who his opponent will be in March. Again, it's only a couple months away, guys.
Is he passing the torch off to his son? That's what I want to know.
We're gonna find out again. I mean, we're talking about.
I think it has to be Darby.
No. His son, not Darby. His son. His son's been in the ring with him.
His son's a wrestler?
His son was in the ring with him, man. Is he passing it off to his son, the Sting gimmick?
No, he's got to pass it off to an AEW wrestler. He has to pass, and Darby just makes the most sense. He's put all this work into him. That's what he's done.
Darby's a bum.
What?
Look,
Darby's a bum, bro. Darby's only good at skateboarding, bro. He's a bum. He's a stunt dummy.
I don't think it's that Darby's a bum. Like, Darby's good at what Darby does. It's just that Darby hasn't been presented in the best way. A lot of the talent there hasn't been presented.
He might as well be a dynamic dude.
Well, I mean, one half of the dynamic dudes was a former world champion. So, I mean, let's not completely.
I don't know about that, Dave.
Well, the wrong guy, but yeah, let's not defecate completely on the dynamic dudes. But I mean, but come on, dude. But yeah, listen, Sting's last match is going to draw attention. It's about literally 8 weeks already since it's the first weekend of March. We'll see how that card starts to shape up. Again, all these dynamites coming up. Obviously are very themed. We're going to be seeing obviously how far along this new faction, the mid-card mafia, is that just was
mid-card mafia. I've been out of the loop for too long, bro.
That's not what they're called, right? Mafia. That's the nickname I gave them, but I don't think that's what they're called.
But who are you talking about?
The Undisputed Kingdom, right? Is that what
you're
talking about?
Yeah. The mid-card mafia. You're right. That makes the most sense. Yeah, they're all fucking mid-carders. Oh, it's funny how everybody hated Vince McMahon so much, and he was right about Adam Cole being a manager.
Wow! My goodness! Wow.
You ain't lying.
I mean, listen. We will see, obviously, in the coming weeks as the card starts to take shape. Guys, another news and interesting. I know that I'm the one only TNA/Impact Wrestling defender on this program, but I think let's sort of give some flowers when they're due. If you do a simple Google search at home, ladies and gentlemen, those brand new TNA titles that they've unveiled this week on social media, where Scott D'Amore, the executive vice president of TNA/Impact Wrestling, has presented all the champions with their new titles. I got to tell you guys, you look at those belts, again, not WWE quality in the sense of the design and how unique and distinctive they are, but let's give them their flowers, man. Those TNA titles, those new ones, are looking pretty legit, in my opinion. I'm not sure if you guys had a chance to check them out online.
Yeah, I saw them. They were pretty nice. I mean, they look better than a lot of the titles that are in professional wrestling all around. I mean, let's be honest, they look better than than the undisputed tag titles. So I mean, they look better than those. What?
Well, Mach, I would argue. I think when they were presented in 2010, when Brett came out coincidentally with them and presented them, I think they were different, right? I mean, sort of like the Spartans design on them, certainly to separate the two brands. But I feel you. I think that title's run its course.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely become. I mean, I wonder which one of these titles will be synonymous with a specific wrestler, because I think that's something that's always like stuck out to me in professional wrestling. Like if you look at the Winged Eagle, right? Like you think of specific guys with that title, maybe like 5 or 6 guys. If you look at the Intercontinental Championship, it's the same thing. Like these are specific guys. Like right now, the new IC title, the one that is being used right now, that title is Gunther's title.
Yes.
Like for the rest of his career. And when they make his commemorative title after he retires, it's going to be with that design.
Yeah.
It's his title. He's made that title. So I'm wondering which one of these titles will be synonymous with TNA wrestlers.
Right, like I'm sorry.
No, go on, Tyler.
The old school IC title for me is Scott Hall and Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
Even
they were
Honky
IC champions, when we were
Macho Man Randy Savage too.
Yeah, even Honky Tonk. I think Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah, definitely. Those are the guys who we think of iconically with that title, sir.
Shawn Michaels,
Shawn Michaels,
Brett to some extent. But
Warrior.
Brett and Shawn were more synonymous with like the Winged Eagle title, the Winged Eagle World title,
Yeah.
Warrior too with the yellow design, you know
Steamboat.
what I'm saying? Yellow strap, Steamboat
Ricky,
too. I mean, that's a great title.
Jeff Jarrett.
The tag, Jeff too, Double J. I think the tag titles to me, I don't know if they're making money off of it, then it doesn't make sense to change it just to change it. You know what I mean? Is it aesthetically pleasing? Probably not. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what Triple H does. It's funny you say that you're the only TNA defender here, Uribe, because we put over TNA's booking. We got positive things to say about their booking here. At least I do.
Especially the women's division.
No, I agree.
The women's division's
I agree. But I'm the only guy in public that'll go out and wear a TNA shirt. Like I'll do that publicly. Well,
I didn't even know that they sold shirts.
Not, I swear to God. Mach, I went to an Impact show in Philadelphia last year, actually 2022, and I bought plenty of merch there because it's, I figured I'm going to be there. I mean, instead of ordering online, let me just get some Impact Wrestling shirts that'll, be some sort of collectible for somebody at some point. Maybe I could sell it on eBay to somebody. I don't know. But,
they've produced some really good stars. Like there are still guys that are always going to be TNA guys. I mean, you look at AJ Styles or Samoa Joe. Like, yeah, these guys were indie darlings, but they mattered in TNA. They were big deals. So.
Yeah, and mind you, and coincidentally, obviously, with the titles being introduced, their first pay-per-view as the new rebranded TNA takes place this Saturday night in Las Vegas. Hard to Kill, the first pay-per-view for them in 2024. Good card. And let me just say this, because I don't want to go off on a TNA tangent, but it's interesting how Anthem LLC and Scott D'Amore, the president of TNA Wrestling, I think he did get promoted. But the point is, I think that there's good awareness with that company to go into a venue like Las Vegas, which, it's a Mark City. Fans love to go watch wrestling there. Certainly, it's only a 4.5 hour drive from LA or most of the metropolitan cities in the state of California. I would argue that their awareness is keen. They know they're going to be at the Resorts Casino. It's a nice little amphitheater. It holds somewhere, I think, between maybe 3,000 to 4,000 people. That's good for them. And I'm sure that building will be packed on Saturday night in Las Vegas for the new TNA. The rebranded TNA. And I think that's smart. I think that, listen, they know what format has worked for them. They're not going to punch above their weight. As Pat would say, that's a great phrase to use, I think, when having awareness from a business sense. And listen, they're never going to pack the T-Mobile Arena. No one would ever think that. I would never think that. Even in their heyday, when they were drawing 1.5 million people on Spike, on Spike TV. Like they
Never say never. Never say never. They're affiliated with the brand.
Well,
Yeah.
What I will say, and again, I've been to some shows out at Temple University on their campus. Certainly their arena where the Temple Owls play, holds like, maybe 10, I think almost 15,000 people. Okay, they try to fill that building, but that's their limit. I think they're being smart once again. They're not going to try to go to the T-Mobile Arena or the MGM Grand Arena. They're smart. They're going to resorts. It's in downtown Las Vegas, old Las Vegas. Hey, Marks will crowd into that building for what will be another good TNA pay-per-view. Hard to Kill.
Yeah.
This Saturday night. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it'll be good. Don't have a specific way to watch it. Don't know where they're actually like.
It'll be on Peacock soon, baby. Don't worry about it.
I mean,
I'm not sure about that.
Well,
for a guy who loves TNA, bro, you're really shitting on him a lot right now.
No, listen. Until I see it in writing from a credible source that,
I heard Meltzer said it, bro.
Well, I mean, Meltzer's about as reliable as Tom Moran in New Jersey, but that's another conversation. So we'll see, though. Speaking about like having awareness or lack thereof, and the importance of not experimenting with mind-inducing narcotics. Folks, Tony Khan this week, I think, is getting himself into a little bit of trouble here. And it's interesting because, while the internet and memes and people on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, I think, like to sort of go off on Tony Khan's at times very infantile behavior. I think even the only Canadian destroyer that sells, Mr. Taylor, here on the show, Tyler, I think let's try to meet in the middle on this. Tony Khan doesn't do himself any favors as a CEO of a wrestling company to get this defensive from what we're seeing on social media. He's not the first. Listen, he's gone after Eric Bischoff. He's gone after other people on social media. I think, during a weekend where the Jacksonville Jaguars were eliminated from playoff contention after posting a tweet on December 13th, playoff tickets are now available. I think it's been a bad week for the Kahn family. I just don't know why he continues to engage in this behavior. Again, does someone have to have an intervention? Does someone need to take away his phone, his access to cocaine, Adderall? Tyler, talk to me, brother, because I'm concerned about this man who's not even 40. He might just have a stroke on me. What's going on, brother?
As I said to the laughing hyena up there earlier this afternoon.
Ooh, ouch. Damn. Oof.
I just don't see why it matters. Like, we all know he's out of his mind and he's gonna say some stupid shit, and then we're gonna laugh at him and we're gonna forget about it till he says the next stupid shit.
But we never forget.
It doesn't matter. Well, you never forget because he has harmed you in some way personally that I've yet to figure out. But to me, it's just like it doesn't. I don't see why it matters. I don't know why we even talk about it. Like, he's a crazy person.
It matters because he's acting like a mark with some kind of like, what did I call it before, Pat? What did I say? He's like some kind of autism or something where it's like he's a fan's fan, but it's like, bro, you gotta chill, dude. You're the boss. Vince don't do that crap. You gotta chill, bro.
Nope.
You look like a buffoon. Should have left Cody Rhodes in charge, bro.
But can you imagine? Can you imagine what Eric Bischoff would have done if he'd had access to Twitter during the Monday Night Wars?
Not that.
He wouldn't have done
Not
that.
that.
He already.
Well, in fairness,
went on TV and.
Well, let's be fair.
Laughing about.
Let's be fair about what Tyler just said there. I think that's a good example. I think of sort of looking at the generational transition of the way you do television. And if we all remember back in the mid to late 90s when, Bischoff joined the NWO and you had those vignettes on Nitro, the following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order. I'll never forget Eric Bischoff in a wrestling ring doing martial arts, kicking sparring with somebody. Videos like that. Shut up, Patrick. Shut up, Patrick. Okay, shut up, Patrick. Okay, shut up, Patrick.
Oh,
Okay, and a guy that felt the need to upload those videos and then sort of publicly bait. The difference is, he's publicly baiting Vince McMahon. And let's be honest, that was really innovative at the time in 1996, 97, when Bischoff said, "Hey, Vinny, we'll be at Slamboree. You got the guts, Vinny? You got the guts to show up?" And again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, but I think over the years, various podcasters said that Pat Patterson, the inner circle of Vince McMahon, had to kind of talk him out of going to Greensboro because I think Vince wanted to jump on a plane and go to Slamboree. So I think at its time it worked because there was no social media. I think all you had was those 2 hours on network television. To say that, I don't think Tyler's far off with, hey, if people had access to social media 20 years ago, how would wrestling be different? I think it'd be very, very different. But the reality is that
let me check my notes here for a second, because what you're describing is Eric Bischoff, the character, something that's portrayed on screen. He was trying to sell a product, and he was the immediate competition for WWE.
And
they
you
actually
think,
beat them
if
for
he had
how many
access
weeks?
to this, and you think if he had access to this, he wouldn't have shot himself in the foot like he did when he made Tony Schiavone say about Mick Foley winning the title, and that'll put asses in the seats and blah blah blah. That he still defends to this day. He still defends that to this day. Like,
hold
it was
on,
a
let me
brilliant
look back
idea.
at my notes again. That's right. Eric Bischoff did say on 83 Weeks that was desperation. He did that Mick Foley thing out of desperation.
And when he said that,
Yeah,
and when he did the same thing about Shawn Michaels, was that desperation, or did he still say that was a great idea?
No, I'm sure he thought it was a great idea at the time.
He still thinks it was a great idea. Anything he does,
why
he
are
thinks
you
is a great
changing the
idea.
conversation?
But in reality, the man had one
Why are
one
you
good idea in
changing
his
the
entire
conversation,
career.
though?
And he wants to go on and shit on AEW because he has a personal vendetta against Tony Khan.
But you're talking about something that happened in the 90s. We're talking about something that happened January 9th, 2024.
Yeah, and I guarantee, like I said, if he'd had access to the same thing and the same opportunities, he would have done the same as a self-promoter.
So you're not gonna answer any of the questions about Tony Khan today. You're just gonna deflect it.
Yeah, I said I think he's out of his mind, but I don't see that it matters.
Oh, it matters.
Well, Tyler, let me ask you
it hurts
this.
his business.
Well, Tyler, let me ask you this. I mean, again, it's 2024. We're entering essentially the 5th year of All Elite Wrestling's existence as a company. And, when you look at behavior like this, yeah, and I'm with you. He is out of his mind. He loves Adderall. He loves to chop it up into his breakfast. He loves cocaine. I get all that. That's fine. But I think that there has to be an awareness. Let's try to meet in the middle on this, hopefully. I think there has to be an awareness where, yes, he's going to say something bombastic, and be it far from me to bash anybody saying anything bombastic. But I think there's also has to be the awareness of you're entering a new year, especially with, the WWE, which is not even like, it's not even a competition. It's apples and oranges, where WWE is getting still really good ratings. The Rock is returning. CM Punk is selling merch up the wazoo. Cody is still selling merch. Like, traffic is great. Metrics, merch sales, buildings are being filled. And, for a guy,
are being cured.
I would think that maybe Tony, I think, listen, my hypothesis is simple. I think Tony Khan does not surround himself with the best people around him for counsel and guidance, or he's just choosing not to follow it, because I can't believe a billionaire, and I get it, that there's this sort of ongoing source of income and revenue coming in. So it's not like, where WCW folded because of Time Warner and AOL handcuffing Bischoff from a budgetary perspective. Khan doesn't have any budgetary restrictions. But I think in this new year, I would argue that now more than ever, Khan has to, I think, have a little more awareness where his product is taking a beating in the ratings. It's taking a beating in attendance. I would argue that the best behavior forward is for him to be that CEO that we expect him to be. I don't think it's too late.
You're 100% right, Fernando. He doesn't have any restrictions, anybody there to guide him. So he's just an open wound right now, bro. Just spewing out garbage.
Patrick's dying to chime in here. I know Pat's like dying to say something.
Okay, so here's the thing. All right, I think you have something right to say, Fernando. I think Tyler has something right to say in the sense that Eric Bischoff and Tony Khan were not wrestling business people. They were business people. You know what I'm saying? Tony Khan's a businessman who happens to be a wrestling fan. Eric Bischoff is a TV guy. He's a businessman himself, but he's never been initiated into the wrestling business. Vince McMahon was initiated into the wrestling business, was bought in by his father, paid his dues, did ring crew, did everything before he finally took over the company. So he understood that there was a semblance of decorum of how a booker and a promoter should behave themselves. You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, there's showmanship. There's doing things to be able to attract your audience. But you yourself as a promoter should not be doing that kind of stuff and behaving that way. Vince McMahon could get on Twitter right now and talk some shit if he wanted to. Nothing's stopping him from doing it. When he had a Twitter account some years back when he was still running the company, nothing was stopping him from getting on there and saying anything about anything, right? Could have said something about something. Could have talked about all those marks that were blowing up his fucking page and blowing up the WWE page to complain about bad booking as if they fucking know how to book anything. You know what I'm saying? So I think Tony Khan needs some supervision in the sense that he needs to be told, like, yo, bro, chill the fuck out. You know, I get he's trying to stir the pot. I get he's trying to get people interested. But, yo, like, people are interested. People have made up their mind already. If people are going to watch AEW, they're going to watch AEW. People are going to watch WWE, they're going to watch WWE. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I think he's in a situation where, yeah, maybe it's like Bischoff, where Bischoff was desperate. And he said that Foley thing. Maybe he's doing this out of desperation. I'll tell you one thing. He hyped up the Jinder and Seth match more than anything else.
Absolutely.
Now people are going to rally behind that match. You know what I'm saying? And those guys are probably going to go out there and kill it and have a great 20-minute match. But I mean,
was that his intention to hype up what he wants in his competition?
Well, I mean, first of all, why are you getting fucking like bothered by fucking work fucking results? That's number one. Yeah. You're getting bothered by worked results. Okay. You're bothered that Jinder Mahal is getting a fucking title shot. You're bothered by that when Jinder Mahal's been a world champion. Jinder Mahal looks the part. Doesn't matter if he doesn't wrestle for fucking years. He looks the part. Hook looks like fucking Tom Holland and has been booked to be a killer in the most choreographed sequence fucking way. And he's going up against Samoa Joe, who looks like a killer.
No.
Who is a fucking killer. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Like you should be looking at what you're booking. You should be looking at the problems with what you're putting out there instead of worrying about what WWE's doing. You should be worried about any of that shit.
Bro, Hook is going to choke Samoa Joe out.
Here's my question. Where's Bryan Danielson right now? Where's Bryan Danielson when you need him? Is he still in Japan? Because he needs to do something about this.
He's only got one eye on the situation, bro. Right? He's only got one eye on it, bro.
One Danielson eye is better than two regular eyes.
Yeah, but like, what do you fine the owner of the company? Because he's definitely catching a fine here somehow.
No, I think somebody needs to talk to him. I think somebody needs to be like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, really, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Because his people are going to stay on his side no matter what. That's fine. That's fine. That's perfectly fucking fine. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to bring people back to your show to get them to try and watch, even though people have made up their fucking mind already, if you're trying to, like, let's say, get a Mercedes Moné to bring her back, why are you doing shit like that? That's not going to do anything. And not for nothing, at least Eric Bischoff was beating Vince at the time and had the ability to talk some shit because of that. Tony Khan, he don't got a fucking leg to stand on right now as far as that's concerned. I'll tell you right now, I would not be surprised if TNA suddenly starts doing better, gets a deal with a more visible network, and they become AEW's real competition.
Yes. Well, I'll say this, guys. Certainly, listen, all the possibilities of streaming, we're hearing different reports about where WWE is headed, where TNA is headed, even AEW. But back to Pat's point, listen, Kahn needs to do better. And I think that's sort of been an underlying theme here. You know, speaking of Mercedes Moné, Eric Bischoff on 83 Weeks in the most recent episode with Conrad Thompson last week.
Conrad Hams called him.
I love how you inadvertently did the accent.
Conrad Thompson here. And great team
Yeah,
out there.
don't be talking shit about Conrad because he could probably give all of us a job on his network.
He probably, and you know what? I'll take that shit right away. But certainly Bischoff has been critical of the Mercedes Moné signing by AEW, where basically he just said it's not going to move the needle. It's not going to really do any business. And I get it that Eric likes to be punitive. To Pat's point about, listen, we live in a business where it's all about clicks and views and who can say something spicy and who can get people to listen and watch. I get all that. Trust me, I know this firsthand. But the point is that Bischoff isn't wrong.
Ooh,
in a women's division that is still very, in my humble opinion, still a little lackluster. You maybe have a handful of good workers between the two brands, between Ring of Honor and All Elite Wrestling, with Ember Moon. I forget the AEW name, but forgive me, gentlemen.
It's Ember Moon, dude.
Looking at Saraya, who's still very limited.
Ooh,
you have
her. Jesus.
You have Tony Storm.
I bet you still call him Pete Dunne too, right?
You have Tony Storm, who I would argue is doing the best work of her career, not just in the ring, but in character work, I think without question. Seeing New Jersey's own Deonna Purrazzo debut last week at the Prudential Center in front of like 600 people, I think was enthralling. To see her, a great worker, a good talker.
Wow.
I think Bischoff, listen, I get Bischoff wants to be punitive, but I hate to say, I think he could be right there. Yes, Kahn is spending a lot of money. According to reports, $25 million over 5 years. We will see.
Dude, what has she done since she's left besides winning the New Japan Women's title?
Well, she's a marketable name, though, D. I mean, for better or for worse.
Marketable for what, dude? If she was that marketable, bro, Triple H would have been like, "Yo, here's $25 million. Come back."
Yeah, but
we
Nick
don't know
Kahn
that though yet.
Yeah, but Nick Kahn and Paul Levesque also look at a person and say, "All right, this is what I think that they are worth," and not to say that. Listen, I'm sure I would venture to guess that and gamble that Paul Levesque and Nick Kahn spoke to Mercedes and they had conversations. But if they're far apart on dollars, they're far apart on dollars. It's as simple as that. I mean, listen, they just brought back Phil Brooks and Pat knows because he listens to Billy Body.
You call him CM Punk, sir.
All right. Well, okay. Phil Brooks, I think is earning about $3 million. I mean, $3 million here.
How much is he getting in shirt money, though, man? Jesus.
No, I understand that. But, you sign this guy for $3 million here. You sign somebody else for $2-3 million there. I mean, it certainly adds up. And I think that I'm sure they spoke. Tony Khan saw the opportunity to overspend like he did with Will Ospreay. That contract's going to come back to bite him in the ass. Okay? It is.
That might be the worst comment I've ever seen on this show.
Well, I like Will Ospreay, but that kind of going to come back to bite him in the ass if he doesn't stay healthy. So we're going to see.
No, I'm talking about that comment from the chat there. Star Wars D+ show, The Mandalorian's an A+ show. What the fuck?
I don't know what he's
Mr.
talking
Scott,
about.
Mr. Scott, again, I don't know who you are. I appreciate your engagement in mind-inducing narcotics, but I mean, come on, let's keep it real. Please, Mr. Scott. We love you watching the show, man. Keep watching, but come on. I mean, the next thing you're gonna tell me is that, I don't know. I mean, that the Blue Jays win the World Series. I mean, what's
He's gonna say something like Christian Cage is the best Canadian wrestler of all time.
He is, dude. He is. You're Canadian. You should know this.
D, have you been experimenting with mind-inducing narcotics?
It's Christian Cage, dude. He's the greatest.
Getting back to Sasha Banks, I think Eric Bischoff is absolutely correct, though. Like, it doesn't matter who he brings in at the moment because it doesn't make sense for the brand. This dude has, all on his own, turned Adam Copeland into just another guy. That's it. He's just another guy.
Weren't you saying a week ago that this is the best feud that Edge and Christian have ever had, and how great it was and everything? Now he's just another guy. Like, let's make up our mind here.
No, I'm not going to make up my mind because Christian versus Edge being a good feud does not mean that he's not
Christian
just another
versus
guy.
Adam. It's just Adam.
Yeah. That's exactly what he is in the company. He's not marketed as anything big. He's not even marketed as big as Chris Jericho. Like, I don't understand. He's one of the hottest names in professional wrestling. He debuts on his television show tonight. As soon as when we go to bed tonight at 3:00 in the morning, Percy Jackson's 5th episode will be out and he will debut. Not a single thing mentioned about it on AEW. Not a single thing. That's a way to get eyes on the product. Like, hey, Adam Copeland's going to be on this show on Disney Plus.
Hey, didn't they do that with MJF?
Well, I don't know why they would have, because he was only in that movie for about 3 seconds and he wasn't even completely in focus on the screen. So,
still got a world champion in the movie, brother.
And mind you, he got invited to the red carpet premiere and he took pictures with everybody.
He's an executive producer. That's why.
Okay, but okay, so getting back to Edge or Adam Copeland. Sorry, D. Adam Copeland.
But Mach, real quick though. I'm sorry, I'll let you finish though. But Tyler, I think we have to agree that Tony Khan, again, the lacking awareness thing about, you should market people better when they're doing outside projects. I mean, the notion, I think he's under the impression that everybody and their mother knows what AEW is and that they don't have to promote anything and that people are just going to tune in and watch because it's on television. Just because something's on television doesn't mean it's very good. I mean, case in point, CNN, MSNBC, yeah, people watch it. Doesn't mean it's any good.
Well, Vince
Nobody watches that shit. Pat, what did you have to say about Sasha yesterday? You had some really great points. Nobody cares about fucking CNN.
No, I'm just saying about watching things,
I do have something. I have something for that though. And then I'll want to hear what Hannah says.
Go right ahead, Tyler. Go right ahead, because I have a loaded.
Hit him with the gun, Double T.
All right. I think maybe they didn't want to promote him being in that movie because legitimately he really wasn't in the movie. He didn't speak even.
I thought he was going to say the movie sucked balls.
No, the movie was good. The movie was really good. But he's in one scene. He literally, he doesn't tag in Zac Efron's character, gets the pin, and Zac celebrates half-heartedly on the apron, because he wants to wrestle with his real brothers. That's the extent of him being in the movie. So maybe they didn't want to market our world champions in this movie, and that's the small role that he has.
They marketed the chaperone. You can market anything.
They made the chaperone. They didn't just market it. They actually made that shit.
So as far as Sasha Banks is concerned, we don't know if she's signed with AEW yet. Nothing's been confirmed, right? But I'll say this much. If she shows up tomorrow night in AEW, obviously we know she's there. She's going to be there for a big deal. Do I think that's the best move for her? No, I don't. Because there's a handful of girls that she could work with that are on her level, okay? Everybody else is young girls that she's going to have to try and bring up, but they're not going to do the character work necessary for them to matter. Now, even if Tony Khan signs Mercedes to a deal, or Sasha, whatever you want to call her, he's not going to book her and present her in the best way possible. You know what I mean? And I think that if he does sign her and he books her well at the beginning, inevitably something is going to happen where she's not going to be presented in the way that she should be presented because Tony Khan doesn't know how to book, and that's going to create another CM Punk problem. And maybe she'll beat the shit out of the Young Bucks. I don't know. But I think that's the type of situation you're looking at there, because Sasha is the type of person that will speak up, and she will say if something stinks, and she will say, "Hey, these girls don't know how to work. What the fuck?" You know what I'm saying? But yeah, if she shows up tomorrow night, then yeah, she's in AEW. I could see that being a problem somewhere down the line, regardless of the money. But if she doesn't, keep an eye on the Royal Rumble. Keep an eye on the Royal Rumble. That's all I could say.
I mean, it's certainly, I think, worth keeping an eye out for, because a lot of media outlets in pro wrestling have all but certainty said that she's signed with AEW. We'll find out tomorrow. Again, it's that Dynamite, as we're heading towards Revolution. I mean, we have to start seeing storylines develop, and I think that Mercedes is a name. I mean, contrary to what Mr. Rotten would believe about Mercedes, I mean, she is a visible.
She's hot. That's it.
Yes, that's true, no question. And she is someone that's been very visible in one of the better made for television series that's along the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
You know, and she's a good character. She set herself up for life when it comes to conventions and merch money.
I bought her toy. She's on my wall.
Okay, you might want to keep it to yourself. But so the thing is, though, that, you know, she's a name that's going to draw attention. But Patrick's right. It's, you know, if there's a handful of women she can work with and have convincing and meaningful matches with, that's going to limit her there. And I get it. Listen, your window's small. You want to make money. Cool. We know Tony Khan will overspend to sign people. We've seen that already. Again, I think that if she was smart, take a little less money, be with a more visible company, and be in a storyline, let's be honest, that if she returns to aid Bayley as she transitions away from Damage Control, that could be potentially a semi-main event on night 1 or 2 of WrestleMania in Philadelphia.
Yeah, Bayley's hot too, dude.
You know, and
smoking.
Again, should Bayley win the Women's Royal Rumble
2
weeks from this Saturday and challenging, you know, the wifey Io Sky, I mean, again, that could be potentially a main event, you know, maybe the second to last match on night 1 in Philadelphia as it precedes, you know, CM Punk and Seth Rollins. And Mercedes being involved in that storyline, I think, works wonders for her, as opposed to going in. She's not going to work with Tony Storm right away. She's probably going to work with some other talent. And to Patrick's point, she might, listen, she's had a history of having a bad back. It'll be exacerbated by having to carry some of those women in AEW in matches.
She will come in and win that title, bro, if they sign her.
Yeah, but
first night.
No, that makes too much sense. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think that they're gonna have her probably feud with Brittany Baker. They'll probably bring back Brittany Baker to have them do something. I could see her working with Tony, Ruby, the Joshis there. But it's like, okay, you're gonna do that, but at this point, if you're her, you're going there strictly for the fucking money and maybe the freedom to be able to go to Japan. But it seemed like she kind of gave her farewell in Japan. So it makes you think like, all right, you know, maybe that's not gonna happen. Maybe she's going back to the States and she's gonna work for the E. I don't know. It's weird because it's like, if you're Mercedes, you want to go there for the money and work with a handful of chicks that are good in the Joshis, or do you want to go and be with your best friend and be in a major angle? You know what I'm saying?
On a show that's going to sell out, you know, the dump of North America, Lincoln Financial Field, in early April. And I think that...
And working for one of your mentors in Triple H, too. That's the other thing now, you know?
But it's also the thing that nobody's talking about is she has the opportunity to go back to WWE when Charlotte's going to be out close to a year. One of the biggest stars in the history of women's professional wrestling is out. And she's not coming back to jump into the title picture. She just started her rehabilitation, right? So Sasha can come back, and let's say she just kind of comes in and does everything Pat says. She works really well. Hey, maybe Trips is like, you know what? Maybe you're the person that beats Rhea Ripley. You know what I mean? That was one of her dream matches. When she was asked who she wants to work, she said Rhea Ripley. That'd be a great spot for her to be in. You go to TNA, I'm not TNA. When you go to AEW or whatever that company's called, when you go over there, you're not going to be working anybody of that magnitude. I mean,
Soraya.
Yeah, but Soraya's limited.
That's
limited.
Yeah, for her to put Soraya on the fucking shelf for another half decade.
Yeah, but Soraya's limited, and I think that if we're talking about a fully healthy Soraya, very mobile Soraya, that's a different conversation. But that's not the Soraya
Ruby Soho.
That's not what we're getting. Pat said a handful of people. He said a handful. Does he have to name them all?
No, it will certainly be interesting. It'll certainly be, and to Macho's point, Charlotte not being around for almost a full calendar year, I think, is going to benefit other women on the roster in the sense of visibility, who they're going to elevate. Listen, there's rumors of perhaps one of the surprise entrants coming up 2 weeks from this Saturday is former NWA Women's Champion Camille Brickhouse, who, let's be fair, is kind of a Charlotte clone when you look at her. So if she's one of those mysterious entrants in the Women's Royal Rumble, that'll be kind of interesting. But overall, we'll see where Mercedes lands up.
Bring back Mandy Rose.
Well, I love Mandy Rose. I mean, she can She can recite the alphabet for all I care, and I'll be just sitting there.
Mandy,
Pay
Mandy
for her
Rose-
OnlyFans is why you can't afford Peacock.
Ooh, nice one. Nice
Well, I
one.
don't subscribe to OnlyFans, so I
Nice
couldn't
one.
tell you that. But
She's making too much money with OnlyFans. What's the fucking
Yeah.
sense of her coming back to wrestling? What's the sense?
no, you're right.
You know what I mean?
Listen, if she wants to give her body a rest, and so be it. Yeah, I mean, Pat's right. I mean, that income you're getting from OnlyFans. Again, I'm not, obviously you deal with the taxable portions of it. Obviously, they're a problem, but certainly, yeah. I mean, she's giving her body a rest. She's doing meet and greets, and surprisingly, like she's charging $100 a pop at some of these meet and greets for photo ops with her. I mean, you do a few of those every
Can
financial.
you imagine that, bro? Paying $100 and you're taking a picture with your own phone.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that you do those meet and greets a few every financial quarter, plus what you're making from OnlyFans. That's really good money, and you're kind of preserving your body. We'll see, but listen, Mercedes, I think is a name that's going to draw attention. We'll find out tomorrow on Dynamite. But it's interesting. Pat brings up WrestleMania and where maybe Mercedes would fit into that. Let's get into our big topic for the night, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about how we would book WrestleMania. Again, WrestleMania emanates from the dump of North America, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, April 6th and 7th, coming up in just a few months. And it seems like a lot of things are unraveling before us as we head to the Royal Rumble 2 weeks from this Saturday, Elimination Chamber in the great country of Australia, coming up in February. A lot to unpackage here, guys. I'll go last, but who wants to go first in the sense of how we would book WrestleMania season?
Well, I told Pat that Tyler would probably be really excited for this spot, so we're gonna let Tyler go first. Go for it.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I'd have CM Punk win the Royal Rumble and challenge Seth Rollins. Then we'd get to the Elimination Chamber, and Cody would obviously win that to challenge whoever the champ is between Roman and The Rock, who would wrestle at the Elimination Chamber. I think Women's Royal Rumble it's pretty obvious Becky's winning, and she's going to challenge Rhea.
Yes.
Interesting.
Bailey, or maybe Bailey does win. Either way, those will be the two title matches: Bailey, Io, and Becky and Rhea.
Sounds like a porno. I had to say that.
All right. Who else? Obviously, you got to have a big spot for people like.
Well, you think Gunther's gonna lose?
Yeah, we have Gunther. We'll have Gunther with his IC title, defending it. I mentioned it on our show the other day against the guy who's a free agent who hopefully will sign with WWE, Kazuchika Okada.
Interesting.
Wow.
You don't think LA Knight taking him out?
No.
Oh,
Get the fuck out
God.
of here. That guy's not
I'm
even gonna
just
be on
saying,
Mania.
dude.
He's not even on the right show.
Mhm.
You never know with these
Oh.
days, bro.
It's sure, I suppose. There'll obviously be some celebrity matches. Logan Paul probably defend his title against somebody, maybe Kevin Owens. I don't know if that's already supposed to happen, but maybe that feud will continue. If not,
Oh God, Mr. Scott, Jesus, God bless you.
I like it. I like that booking. That's excellent.
Mhm.
yeah, I think we're gonna have Drew versus, as we talked about, Drew versus Damian probably
Nice.
with the briefcase on the line.
Interesting. How about the tag titles, Tyler? Who do you like?
Tag titles. Well, that I guess DIY would have to win them then, right? Because otherwise, Damien's otherwise occupied. So DIY versus. Ooh, that's a tough one. There's not tag teams are. There's not a lot of.
Brothers.
Yeah, okay, that works.
What'd you say?
The Creed
The
brothers.
Creed brothers. The Steiners 2.0.
I was gonna say maybe Viking Raiders, but yeah, that works too.
We don't know how long one of them's out.
Yeah, I don't know. Or DIY maybe, or not DIY. Alpha Academy.
Okay.
We'll say the Creed brothers. Obviously, it looks like probably Jimmy versus Jay is going to be a thing.
Authors of Pain, brother.
Are they signed?
Yeah, dude, they're back, bro.
They premiered last Friday in a new faction with Karrion Kross. And Scar.
Okay.
Oh, Ellerin.
And Ellerin, yeah.
They beat up the Suit Profits.
Oh, nice.
The Suit Profits? Did you just say the Suit Profits?
Those are very good suits, by the way. I mean, to be fair, as a man of style myself, I mean, I have to give it to them. Those are very nice tailored suits.
You'd think you have better sunglasses than if you had good style. The fuck?
Oh my!
Damn, dude.
Cold-blooded.
How else is he gonna look like a cross between Ray Charles and Alberto Del Rio?
Oh my lord!
I like it. Wow.
Alberto Del Rio.
Well, can I go next?
Mach, anytime you want to come up to New York here, I'll take you to a rooftop and we'll go out cruising for chicks if you want, and I'll show you what styles, my man.
I would bag way more than you.
Okay.
That's like groceries.
Okay.
Yeah, I think WrestleMania will definitely sell some windbreakers.
Oh God, you guys are that windbreaker. How did he say it last week, Pat? Say the accent with it, Pat.
Windbreaker.
All right, Pat, you next.
Man. All right, so Royal Rumble. We obviously know the card that we have coming up, right? So I would have Logan Paul retain against Kevin, right? I would have Gunther retain his title, right? I would have Roman retain his title. The finish on that, obviously, that would be tough. I'd probably have it where AJ tries to go for like a forearm. Randy tries to go for the RKO, then AJ tries to get him in the stock clash, hits AJ with the cutter, and then this guy tries to go for his move, LA Knight. Randy hits him with the cutter, then Roman throws Randy out of the ring and rolls up LA Knight. I'd probably do something like that. Seth obviously would retain. I'd have Punk win the Rumble. I'd have Bayley win the Rumble. Then from there, I'd go to like Elimination Chamber, and I would have Becky. Win Elimination Chamber, and I would have Cody win Elimination Chamber. I'd do Rock and Roman that night, and I would have Roman go over clean on the Rock. No bullshit, no nothing. Like no nonsense. Like really, really, really big up Roman. Create the perception of this super dominant champion going into WrestleMania. No chicanery, no nonsense. You know what I mean? From there, I'd probably, like the TV in between, I'd probably kind of make Knight and Owens buddies, right? And I would put Knight in the U.S. title match, but then I would have Knight get jumped by somebody in the back, and then Owens would take the title shot, and he would beat Logan Paul for it.
No yeet.
Yeah, I think that would be good. Or you could put LA Knight like in the Twinkies Battle Royal. Or something like that, or like the Miller Lite Battle Royal.
The Miller Lite Battle Royal.
He won it last year.
He could become like the new spokesman for like Miller Lite, or maybe Rheingold beer. I think that might be good for him, or Lucky Strike cigarettes. You know, he could win the Lucky Strike cigarettes Battle Royal. That might be good for him. Yeah. That's how I would book that. As far as the tag titles are concerned, I'd probably do a tag title match between Finn and Priest against DIY, and I would have them drop it to DIY because to me, the Creed brothers, they're good, but they're still kind of green. And I think DIY is a good team that you could build over time. And that's the Triple H project, right? Realistically, you're not going to have Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa be singles wrestlers on the main roster and like expect them to succeed. So as part of a team, I think they work a lot better. And I think that they would be a good team to beat them. But in the meantime, I'd kind of tease some dissension in the Judgment Day, because you notice that Priest has been laughing more and more at the stuff that Truth's been saying. So I would kind of make that a point of contention between him and Finn. And Finn gets pissed off. Finn's like, yo, what's up, man? You know, you're laughing at me. Like, he confronts him. Priest is like, yo, what are you doing, man? And then because of that, they end up breaking up. And Drew ends up becoming a member of the Judgment Day. Like, for real this time. And then he challenges Priest for the case. And then I would have Priest lose the case, but in a fucked up way. And I would turn Damian Priest into a babyface. And obviously I would have Punk win the title. And then I would have Cody win the title, go over clean. I would have Bayley win the title as well.
You're finishing stories here, bro. You're finishing some stories.
Oh, I'm finishing stories, dude. I'm finishing stories. Actually, you know what? I take it back on Punk. I would have Punk lose. I would have Punk lose. I would have Rollins. I would have Rollins retain, and then I would have Punk turn heel. Because Rollins isn't really a heel yet. He's not. Like, you know that the fans are either going to boo or cheer one or the other. They're both faces. But man, this happy-go-lucky like Punk thing, like, you kind of want to see him turn. You kind of want to see him go back to being a scoundrel, you know?
If Rollins wins, Nick, does whoever wins the briefcase cash in on Rollins after Punk knocks him out?
I would put it on Drew, and I would just leave it on Drew, and then maybe try and do something leading up to, like.
Because don't you have to cash in before Mania? Once Mania is...
No, Money in the Bank.
No, Money in the Bank.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would save that and maybe kind of make it a situation where could there be 2 Money in the Banks or something? You know what I mean? Like, that would be something later on. But as far as WrestleMania, booking up to WrestleMania, that's what I would do. And as far as the tag title, as far as the Intercontinental title is concerned, I'd have Gunther retain at WrestleMania, and I'd have him drop it the following night on Monday Night Raw to Braun Breaker. And I would bring Braun Breaker up to the main roster and make him the Intercontinental Champion.
Nice.
And that's it.
All right. Nice. I like that. I like that booking. I'm actually going to start with the tag titles. So I would actually have Damian. I don't know what the love is for DIY. Fuck's going on this podcast.
Well, they make sense. They make sense.
More like OLD.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I like it. I would have Damian and Finn drop the tag titles to Awesome Truth. I feel like the Miz and Truth, because the whole R-Truth thing with the Judgment Day right now makes sense. And then right now the Miz is a babyface. So to me, I feel like that's the perfect way to do it. And then if you wanted to go Cleveland to Cleveland, if you wanted to do at WrestleMania where it's Awesome Truth versus DIY, then there you go. You have your tag match.
You mean OLD?
You should really shave your beard. And then the Intercontinental Championship, I would have Gunther versus Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. I feel like that would just completely kill. I love that idea. Gunther retains. And then I feel like, yeah, you're right. Braun Breaker beats him the next night. I definitely have CM Punk win the Rumble. I have Nia Jax win the Rumble because she's so hot right now, especially with Becky putting her over. What? I feel like we can organically get to. Well, let me give my booking.
You're booking, bro. I'm just saying.
I would have Bayley just organically win the title shot against Io, and then I would have Nia put her match on the line against Becky at Elimination Chamber, and then have Rhea come in and just like clean house and then give us a triple threat match for that title at WrestleMania. I like that idea of having one singles match and then one triple threat match, because right now Nia's hot, Rhea's hot, Becky's hot. It's great. It works for all 3 women. Then I feel like that's a great way to keep the title on Rhea too, without like killing Becky and without killing Nia either. I would definitely have Drew McIntyre beat Damian Priest for the briefcase at WrestleMania, like make that a WrestleMania match. I would have Seth Rollins beat CM Punk at Mania, retain the title, and then I would have Judgment Day come out and just clean house and have Drew steal Seth Rollins' WrestleMania moment and take the title from him. Like, I feel like that's the part that matters. It's stealing it from Seth because he feels like Seth stole everything from him. And you can do that also with CM Punk. You can have Punk win the title at WrestleMania and then have Damian cash in on him. I mean, it's happened to Punk before at SummerSlam, and he won the title back at Survivor Series, so you can always go that way. I would have Cody win the Elimination Chamber, and then I would have a triple threat match night 2 for WrestleMania. I would have Rock, Roman, and Cody. Have Cody beat them both the way Bryan beat Batista and Orton. And I feel like that's the best way to have Cody like go over massively. Like, I feel like
Cody becomes the table.
What?
You don't get my never mind, Poppy. Never mind.
All right.
I like that. I like that because you cover up the Rock a little bit too, and you know he'll be able to go. But I mean, he's a little bit older, and that's a good way to kind of cover him up. Yeah,
he's too big, man. The Rock is too big to be moving.
Well, I also was thinking. I talked about this with Tyler too. I also think that this is a great way for Roman to take a step back as the face of the company, and this is a great way for like Cody to be the guy. Like, here it is. I'm the new like John Cena. I'm the new Hogan. Like, that's it. He's the top guy in the business now. You know what I mean? Because we've had Roman be the top guy in the business for the past 11 years. So like now we can shift over to Cody, give him the next 6 to 7 years until guys like Gunther and Braun Breaker are ready for that spotlight. You know, I don't know if Braun will ever be there. He might just be like a top guy, like a Benoit type of guy. But I don't think he'll ever be something at the level that Gunther.
You think Gunther's bigger than Braun? Or can be bigger than Braun? You're out of your mind. Don't make me go over the PA and Frankenstein to you.
And I personally prefer Braun to Gunther, but I have to be objective here. And the way Gunther's being built,
I can't picture Gunther as being a heavyweight champion. He just seems like a mid-card dude, and that's it. Braun comes from Braun Breaker comes from the genetics of Scott Steiner, bro. Fucking Big Daddy Booty, man. Fucking the big man, bro. You can't fuck with him, bro.
Big Daddy Booty. What the fuck?
Steiner's son.
I mean, his dad was a big Carter at best.
Steiner's son. Yeah.
Genetics, brother.
Yeah, that's what I would do. And then, I feel like that'd be a great way to do it. And honestly, like if you have Damian and Seth feuding, you know, I'm not Damian. If you have a Drew and Seth feuding after, because that's typically what's going to happen. We're probably going to get triple threat matches between the two of them and Punk, you know, at like Backlash and stuff like that. Then that leaves everything open for Cody.
It's not
like you can start. Yeah, you can kind of just like jump after, and then you know it leaves everything open for Cody, where Cody can work like a slew of people. He probably could beat Roman one-on-one, finally get his one-on-one win at Backlash, but he's gonna beat them both at Mania. You know what I mean? Like that'd be a great way to do it too. Like I don't know. I see it like that. Oh, and then obviously Jimmy versus Jay. That needs to happen.
How long? How many more years does Cody's brother have left on his contract?
He's up this year.
He's up this year. Is he up before WrestleMania?
I'm not positive. I watched a video about who's up this year a few days ago, but I don't remember exactly when he was up. I just know it's 2024.
Just saying, could have helped him out.
Well,
yeah. Oh, and then I would have Sasha help Bayley win the title at Mania. By the way, that's it.
Too hot for
I'd keep her away from that hot garbage over there, you know, over at Wednesday nights. Breaking news, by the way, just want to give you guys a heads up real quick before Uribe goes. Tony Khan is the only promoter in the history of professional wrestling to get more views on a tweet than his television show got on Wednesday night last week. So last week they had like 750,000. His one tweet alone today got 1.3 million. So good for you, Tony Khan, for taking all of the credit for yourself and continuing to be that guy as your company just, you know, stays at 750 to 800.
Flounders like a dead
fish. How many views did Vince McMahon's retirement tweet get the same day as SmackDown? I bet it had more views than the show.
Ooh.
Well, I don't know.
Acknowledge me.
But that's 40 years. That's legendary status. And when he retired, it mattered. It hurt people. People cried. We were upset. We missed him. He gave us everything.
We were?
He built everything.
We were upset?
Yeah, I teared up, bro.
Yeah, we as a wrestling community. You know,
he built my childhood.
Tony Khan could sell AEW tomorrow, and all of a sudden they'd probably start hitting 1 million views on Wednesdays because people would actually be invested in the show. What about you, Uribe?
Well, a lot of great ideas here. I'm going to go a little bit different with some of these, so bear with me. Certainly, obviously, leading up to the Royal Rumble 2 weeks from this Saturday, it would seem that CM Punk winning the Royal Rumble, the Men's Royal Rumble, would be the most plausible way to get to Seth and CM Punk for night one in Philadelphia. I'm not sure what the exact card is. It's my understanding the Creed brothers challenge the Judgment Day for the tag titles. I could be wrong. I don't know. I might have read that somewhere. I could be wrong. Certainly the Fatal 4-Way looks very intriguing. I can't see Randy Orton taking a clean pin. I can't see AJ Styles taking a
take off your sunglasses. You could be able to see.
Yeah, well, I think the most realistic scenario would be LA Knight taking the pin after maybe, to Patrick's point, a scenario of finishers being enacted, and maybe he takes the loss there against Roman in the Fatal 4-Way. I would argue that as we transition away from the Rumble and we head to the Chamber, I'm with Pat on this one. I think the most shocking result could be Roman convincingly beating The Rock. No chicanery, nobody running in, no distractions, just a straight up, not a squash per se, but a match where he decisively defeats The Rock, announces his complete supremacy of the family lineage and the bloodline, and he heads into Mania to take on Cody, who would win the Chamber match. Who's in the Chamber match specifically? I think it'll be interesting. Those qualifying matches obviously will be very, very, I think, fun to watch on SmackDown and Raw in the weeks after the Royal Rumble. Going into WrestleMania season, here's a swerve I think that a lot of people aren't thinking
Strickland?
about. Oh, no. Even though I love Prince Nana, that's my man right there. I'm a Prince Nana Mark.
Is it because he likes the Nana? He calls himself Prince Nana.
Listen, I love that's my man right there. But I'd have Brock Lesnar come back to face Gunther. I think it's an intriguing match in the sense of their size and what they represent, different eras. I think Lesnar putting over Gunther only adds to the lore of Gunther. I think this title run by Gunther has been sensational. He has put on blockbuster matches with incredible opponents. I think Gunther is a guy who has gotten he's gotten it. He's understands,
cool, man, but I think he's a little light on the promo, man. You know, he doesn't got a little, the oomph.
Yeah, okay, but D, what do you want him to do? Like recite the periodic table of elements? I mean, I don't understand.
I mean, Honky Tonk Man had the oomph. The Warrior had the oomph.
No,
Macho had the
Gunther's
oomph.
promos are good.
Yeah, but Gunther as a heel, I think has performed his role well. I think Gunther as that guy that is sinister, a guy that is no nonsense. I think that persona, that gimmick has worked. I think fighting, going up against Lesnar at Mania, it'll be a very good physical match. I think, I'd like to see Gunther go over on Lesnar. It only adds again to the legacy of what he's been doing with this title run. What I would say about the coveted United States Championship, certainly we know Logan Paul will be defending against Kevin Owens at the Rumble. I think that, listen, if Paul's been keeping LA Knight somehow visible.
Didn't he sell that title for a Super Bowl ring?
Well, we'll see. But what I will say is, LA Knight challenging Logan Paul, I think is entertaining. I think the promos will be entertaining. I think Logan Paul has generic heat. He's an influencer. He has millions and millions of eyes on him because he checks off a lot of boxes with different demographics. from being a boxer, from being a podcaster, from being an influencer, from being an entrepreneur. Again, Logan Paul is that guy that has been great as a signing for WWE and TKO. And I think that that's a match potentially that could, be on night one of the PLE. I'm going to go a little bit differently with the women's match. I would see Bayley winning the women's Royal Rumble. I think possibly, again, if it doesn't happen tomorrow night, she's not signed, I think getting some sort of assist from Mercedes against somebody maybe towards the end, whether it's Kairi Sane, in that Royal Rumble match. I think something that creates dissension and ultimately adds into the breakup of Damage Control. Again, seeing Io go up against Bayley, I think, is an intriguing match.
She's the nugget, bro. Bayley's the nugget.
I would argue, I think if you want to kind of not give everybody everything on night one, but Io going over on Bayley would not be the worst thing. You could still have Bayley maybe win it at Backlash in Paris.
But there's no oomph, bro, if you don't win it at Mania, bro. There's no oomph.
I understand that, but not every babyface can go over at WrestleMania. We learned that, 20 years ago, right, in Seattle. I think that, some heels winning on night one is not the worst thing. Whether Gunther faces Lesnar on night 1 or 2, I don't know. But theoretically, Io going over is not the worst thing. She's been a phenomenal worker, has been a great heel. Again, her status in Damage Control has been sensational. I would argue the tag titles, I'm going to go a little bit differently than everybody else's is tonight. Sink or swim, Paul Levesque continues to put time and effort and money into Karrion Kross. And I think it's no coincidence of bringing the AOP back into the company. This faction could potentially be maybe the last salvageable run for these three guys. More so Kross, because you keep putting them out there on television. And I could see the AOP winning either a Fatal 4-Way against the Judgment Day at Mania. That would not be the worst thing to elevate them back again. They're a believable tag team. You look at them and they're killers. They're trained fighters. I mean, you look at the AOP and you look at me, it's like those are believable guys that could dominate a division. That's who I would like to see go over with the tag titles, with the other women's championship. Believe it or not, I would not be opposed to a Fatal 4-Way. I would not be opposed to Becky, Nia Jax, possibly another female, either qualifying matches or some kind.
Mercedes,
and, possibly Mercedes, but I could see that again if Mercedes returns and Bayley challenges Io. I think Mercedes needs to be in that corner. I think you have to kind of even the odds a little bit. You want to sort of have Bayley not go in there, completely outnumbered. I think Mercedes in the corner works for that angle. I don't think Rhea has to lose the championship. I think Rhea going over Becky and or Nia, again, not the worst thing. I think they've been building Rhea into this amazing character, amazing champion. The pops for her are out of this world. So her time as a heel could be limited. I think that she could be a babyface not any day now, but sooner rather than later. I think Rhea retaining, I think, is another one that I think fans would not expect at Mania.
You don't have to turn babyface. I mean, look at Rey Mysterio. He's been babyface his whole life. He never turned heel, so you could be heel for your whole.
No, I understand that, but if you're going to break up the Judgment Day, maybe sooner or later that you could just dissolve it completely to some extent. We'll see. But Rhea retaining, again, not the worst thing. Again, the premise of championships have to be dropped at Mania, and otherwise it's not a good Mania match. That's not true. We've seen plenty of matches where the champions retain, and it doesn't kill the vibe of the match or the storyline. Again, there's always backlash. I mean, I get it. Listen, 24 years ago when The Rock lost in the Fatal 4-Way to Triple H with the chicanery with Vince, did that make his win at Backlash the next month any less? Of course not. So I don't think losing at Mania is the worst thing for either, Rollins, who I think, could lose that match otherwise either to Punk or to the scenarios you guys presented. I like Damian Priest and Drew for the briefcase. I think that it's no coincidence yesterday in that promo about sort of accentuating the reality that, yeah, Drew didn't win that championship in front of fans. I think that a lot
It
of
was lame.
I think a lot of, well, I mean, unfortunately, the pandemic did that. But Drew defenders will say, hey, the following year, he should have beaten Lashley. Well, that wasn't the case. Lashley was a strong heel champion. You kept the belt on him. I think that Drew versus Damian, Drew getting the briefcase and maybe cash in on Rollins, folks, I mean, that would be an amazing moment for a guy that has paid his dues in the business, and doing it in front of fans, I think would really continue to elevate Drew as a character on the roster. I would also venture to say that potentially in the main event, Cody challenging Roman Reigns and Roman winning again is not the worst thing. His father, the late great Dusty Rhodes, it took him 3 tries.
But you don't think they're gonna do like a Rocky?
No,
a Rocky thing in PA.
I think, again, I could be wrong, but my understanding is that based on availability and constraints with time and productions, that maybe between now and Elimination Chamber, that's the time we're going to get of Dwayne Johnson. Remember, the XFL, UFL launches the week before WrestleMania. He's invested in that, okay? And, maybe his commitments are dedicated to that specific venture. We'll see. But it took Cody's father 3 tries to beat Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Cody losing to Roman, and Roman eventually getting to beating Hogan's record in September, I think is a very plausible reality. Paul Levesque has clearly shown he is willing to break records. He is clearly willing to create new merchandise streams. And Roman continuing this dominant run, probably of this era, is something that I think will drive the marks crazy.
You guys got to stop. You got to leave Hogan's record alone, dude.
Well, why?
This is the man who made the business the business.
That's fine. It doesn't mean that. I mean, Ric Flair, Ric Flair's 16 title reigns. I think it's 19 if you look at the almanacs. But the point is that at some point that's going to be broken too.
When are they going to break that, bro? They've been talking about that since John Cena.
But at some point, if they do, does it take away from Ric Flair? Does it take away from Hogan's reign? I would argue that Reigns.
Charlotte's going to break her dad's record.
Okay, that's fine. But Reigns continuing
doesn't count. Different division.
Think about how polarizing it was when Cody lost last year. The marks online lost their mind, but guess what? People are still as invested in Cody. That hasn't ended. That hasn't disappeared like a virgin on prom night. It's still there. Cody losing in April doesn't hurt him.
It was the greatest, though. I loved it because all the faces and the pitches and when
Taker
lost, it was the greatest.
I think Reigns continuing this historic run is not the worst thing from a merchandise perspective, from a revenue perspective, from a metrics perspective. Again, he's the top guy in the company. He's become an attraction. I get it. Yeah. Marks don't like it that he's a part-timer, but maybe that's due to his illness. Maybe that's due to the physical toll that his career's taken on him. We don't know. Let's give the man some flowers and acknowledge him and appreciate. That's the other A. That's just acknowledge. But let's appreciate what Roman's done, and let's appreciate how good this run has been for him. And him beating Hogan's record, I think, continues to solidify him as perhaps the best draw in the business in the last quarter century. Again, the numbers tell us, folks. I mean, again, numbers don't lie. And I think that Roman retaining is a very real possibility. Paul did it last year.
Dude, that'll be such the middle finger to all the fans. Bro.
No, it was a middle finger last year. And
I'm saying it's a good one though, because you'll see you have more faces. Like
that's fine, but guess what? We're still watching. We're still podcasting about it. People are writing articles, and it's still going to trigger people. Again, it took Dusty 3 tries to get to beating Ric Flair. It might take 3 tries for Cody to beat Roman, and that's not the worst thing in the world. Listen, it took Rocky 3 tries to finally beat Austin, and that was a long, drawn-out program from 1997 to 2003. Are we any less disappointed about that match 20 years ago in Seattle? Of course not.
True.
So that's my WrestleMania booking. Guys, what do you think?
I like it.
Not bad.
I like a lot of what you said.
I think we all said good things. I think the four of us would be a better booking committee than any chat group out there, and I think that we would make a heck of a lot more sense than most people.
Tony Khan should give us a job. We can fix their company.
Yeah, but I don't want to get paid in powder. It's
I wouldn't mind flying to Jacksonville every couple of weeks.
Paid in powder, Peruvian pink.
Yeah, no. I'm okay.
You guys in the chat, you'll know if we all got jobs with Tony Khan next week because we'll all be out here like this.
We won't blink.
Yeah,
the show will be like 10 hours long.
So I think Fernando brings up an interesting point about Roman, right? Because there's some of us that do want to see Cody finish the story. You know what I'm saying? We're enjoying Roman's reign, right? No pun intended.
I love it.
And what Roman's contributed to the business. He's done a great job. He's been a phenomenal champion. At some point, though, somebody has to beat him, right? And I still do believe that the guy that's going to beat him for the title is going to be Cody. It's just a matter of when. Hogan, yeah, he's Hogan, but I mean, like, it's fucking 40 years, bro. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Triple H, I think, also has the awareness to perhaps say to himself, we need to create the perception that these guys now are as good as the guys from back in the day. Because when you talk to a wrestling fan, what do they usually say? Well, wrestling was better back in the day. The wrestlers were better back in the day, right? That's what most wrestling fans tend to say, right? Okay, so you want to kind of create that perception. Keeping that title on Roman until he breaks those records, that's a pretty good way of creating that perception. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I mean, I'm not against it either way. I think Roman's a fantastic champion, but personally, I do want to see Cody finish the story.
Yeah, I mean, guys, it's going to be interesting as we enter WrestleMania season. It's January, winter weather, Royal Rumble's in 2 weeks. Arguably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, PLE of the year. It's
best,
the spontaneity, the mystery. I mean, folks, it's what makes wrestling watch parties, I think, worth going to, right? Whether it's in people's homes or out and about in lounges and restaurants and bars. I mean, it's that exciting of a PLE, and it's one of the original four. I think that's still, let's be honest, folks. It started in 1988 on the USA Network with Hacksaw Jim Duggan defeating, and by the way, it was kind of interesting there. I believe he defeated the One Man Gang. I think, right? I think in the final two. I think I could be wrong. D, make yourself useful there. D, make yourself useful. Give me some.
I was 3, so.
But again, we'll see what happens to WrestleMania season as we'll continue breaking it down here on Famcast TV. Before we call it a night here, guys, on this day, January 9th, in pro wrestling history, in 1959, Pat O'Connor became the NWA World Heavyweight Champion for the first time, defeating Dirty Dick Hutton. Also in 1962, on this day, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, AWA United States Champion Mr. M beat AWA World Champion Vern Gagne to take both belts, and as a result, the AWA retired the United States Championship.
Who the fuck can read that?
All right, sir. It says Duggan tossed Volkov out of the ring, while on the other side, the One Man Gang eliminated Hillbilly Jim and later.
Who the fuck can read that, bro? Nobody could fucking read that. What is that? It's fucking dwarf print. Like, what the fuck is that?
It was there, man. So you were right. One Man Gang and Duggan.
I do recall that. Again, guys, think about it. Not a random, but sort of an experimental idea by Vince McMahon in 1988 on the USA Network. And look at what that event's become. It's amazing. It really, really is amazing about what the Royal Rumble has become.
Pat Patterson, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. On this day in 1993, at a live event in Boston, Massachusetts, the other dump of North America, Bret the Hitman Hart took on Ric Flair in WWF's first ever Iron Man match. The match lasted 1 full hour and was won 3 falls to 2 by the excellence of execution after he reversed Ric Flair's figure 4 leg lock into a pin with 18 seconds left on the clock. I wish there was video of that. I would sit through that match and watch it.
There probably is. What do you mean there's no video of that?
I have not seen anything online, D, that's your homework assignment for next week.
WWE
There's
records
a
everything.
photo. There's a photo of Brett in the figure 4, but that's it.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen any video on it.
On this day in 2000, ECW presented Guilty as Charged from the hometown of Conrad Thompson in Birmingham, Alabama. In the first of 3 matches where the titles were defended, Rob Van Dam defended Sabu to retain the ECW World Television title. Following this, Lance Storm and Just Incredible defeated Tommy Dreamer and Raven to win the ECW World Tag Team titles. And the main event
Hey,
saw
respect those guys. Those were the fucking Impact players, man. They had a tag team name. They weren't just the coolest. They weren't just the best. They were just incredible.
Fuck those.
And the main event saw Mike Awesome retain the ECW World title against Spike Dudley.
MJF.
On this day in 2005, New Year's Revolution was held in San Jose, Puerto Rico. On the show, Eugene and William Regal defeated Tomko and Christian to retain the World Tag Team titles, the Raw version of it. Trish Stratus defeated Lita in under 4 minutes to win the Women's Championship and would hold the title for the next 448 days. A very historic run.
Why did she beat Lita?
Yeah.
Why did she beat Lita?
In 2005?
Lita was a cheetah?
Because Lita tore her ACL during the match.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, I wasn't aware. Good one, Mach. Good one. Straight after, Shelton Benjamin defeated Maven to retain the Intercontinental Championship in just 5 seconds.
Somebody got hurt in that match too, didn't they?
I don't recall.
There were 2 people that suffered major injuries on the show.
A high school principal in upstate New York, now back then called Muhammad Hassan, defeated Jerry the King Lawler. Kane defeated Gene Snitsky, and in the main event, with Shawn Michaels acting as the special guest referee, Triple H defeated Edge, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Batista, and Randy Orton in the Elimination Chamber, which would eventually set up, folks, Triple H's eventual downfall at WrestleMania in Los Angeles just a few months later to the eventual Royal Rumble winner, Batista. Also on this day,
talking about. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. On this day, also in 2006, to celebrate winning the WWE Championship the previous night at New Year's Revolution from John Cena, Edge and his on-screen girlfriend Lita infamously put on the quote live sex show, which I'm sure D still has somewhere on VHS.
Oh yes.
On Monday Night Raw with a bed set up inside the ring. The episode went on to be one of the most watched episodes, not just of the year, but in WWE history. Also on this day in 2011, TNA Genesis emanated from the Impact Zone in
Propaganda, brother. Propaganda.
What do you mean propaganda? What? Like TNA Genesis?
No, this.
Oh, Jesus.
Somebody's offering us. It's because you said live sex on here.
Oh, there you go. 2011 TNA Genesis was held at the Impact Zone in Atlanta, Florida. Multiple titles changed hands. And in the main event, it saw Mr. Anderson take the TNA World Heavyweight Championship from the charismatic enigma, Jeff Hardy. And also in 2017, on an episode of Raw at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, Louisiana, Roman Reigns lost the coveted WWE United States Championship in a handicap match against Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens. As per the rules of the match, Jericho was declared the champion as he was the one who pinned Roman Reigns. All that great stuff, folks, happening on January the 9th, this date in pro wrestling history. Guys, take us some what you got.
If Mr. Kennedy shows up at Royal Rumble, I'm gonna mark the fuck out. I'm just saying. My neighbors are gonna hear me sing like Mr. Kennedy. My neighbors are gonna call the fuck.
I love Mr. Kennedy. I love them too. I love them. Yeah.
LA Knight's already in the
original LA
Florida match. Yeah, LA Knight's already in the Florida match.
Oh man.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Guys,
dropped the ball with LA Knight though. They did. No, they dropped the ball with LA Knight and Elias because I would have made LA Knight Ezekiel, and I would have made Elias, and I would have made them a tag team and made them tag champs. That's what I would have done. You know?
I'll mention that to Elias next time I see him. He's a customer of ours.
Ooh,
That's hilarious. That's pretty
He's
funny.
got a new name,
Elias,
though,
I
isn't it?
see.
Elijah. It's Elijah now for TNA.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Did he debut?
No, he didn't debut, but he did change his name. Yeah.
Interesting.
Talk to him about it.
I asked him
Shout out to
about
Pat
what his
O'Connor.
next. I asked him what his next plans were and when he would know, and he kind of kayfabed me a little bit. So
Nice.
said it's all up in the air. So
trying to get you to walk with him, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Pat O'Connor, man, creator of the O'Connor roll.
That sounds like a
still
delicious
used to this
roll.
day. Yeah, no, the O'Connor roll, bro. Come on, man. It's
Yeah,
best wrestling roll ever.
somebody used that on Wrestle Kingdom. I was watching it today.
Yep.
Interesting.
Since we're
guys,
talking about moves, we got to talk about our Puerto Rican mommy in NXT, Roxanne Perez. Her new finisher debuted last week as she used the Boricua crossface.
The back?
I love
Talking
it.
about the back?
Wow.
That's the
Wow.
first time
No,
somebody's
that's
actually used it as
another
a
one.
finisher.
Did Booker T say, "Yo, the Boricua crossface, brother"?
Nah,
Yeah,
that's
like,
what I'm calling it.
The Boricua crossface. Or,
But I do think it's
Nick Joseph.
hilarious, though, that her character is a psychopath and that she used the crippler crossface. I was like, yo, that's a lot of stuff.
Ooh, very suggestive.
That's a lot
Very
of stuff,
suggestive.
man. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, guys, good stuff here. Folks, check us out on Famcast Media. Special shout out to our executive producer, Dee Rotten. Good to have him back from his eating binge where he was. Good to have you back, D.
Told you he was talking shit about you, D. I told you. Shout out to Blood Incantation too, bro.
Fernando's the
Cosmic
best there
Death
was,
Metal,
the
baby.
best there is, and the best there ever will be, bro.
I love my Fernando marks. God bless him. I love him.
He was really talking shit about you, bro. He said you only know how to spell shit with a Y.
Yeah.
That I could see.
Yeah, bro.
That's
bro.
so good. But guys, do check us out on Famcast Media. Sharing is caring. Click that share button on all of your social media platforms. Make sure you like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, as well as also on Twitch. Folks, check us out on YouTube. And of course, let's go Devils. And certainly,
Let's go Devils, baby.
Certainly, folks.
And we gotta say thank you for a lot of the downloads we're getting in India right now.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Shout out to India.
Love
Shout
your
out
food. Send your food, India. Send your food.
No, that's
fucking love
okay.
it. Love
okay.
it. Send it. Bring it on, baby. Love Indian food.
Street food or diner food.
My colon where it's
Yeah.
situated in my intestinal tract.
Send me some samosas, yo. Let's go.
But,
Yeah.
Mimosa. You want a mimosa?
No, a samosa.
Guys, check us out again on
pendejo.
all of our great platforms. And again, we appreciate you tuning in here tonight on Famcast Media, folks. He is Nick Mysterio, of course, the New Jersey's premier wrestling analyst. We have Macho Rodriguez, Pennsylvania's premier Puerto Rican analyst. Of course, we have Tyler Taylor, the only Canadian destroyer that actually sells every week here on Famcast Media. Of course, folks, Dee Rotten, our amazing executive producer, and we're glad that he actually spelled everything correctly this week. We love you, brother. Good to have you back here. Of course, I am New Jersey's premier journalist, folks. Fernando Uribe. Guys, take care of yourselves, and remember, if you can't be good, be bad, baby. We'll see you next week here on Working the Marks on Famcast.
Tony Khan, get some help.
Please.
Famcast Media.